Those of you who watch my live stream may have seen my Chaos Theory deck in action. Today I'm going to show you a game against the opponent Corp, which I fear the most, NBN making news. Why is NBN so scary? Because it does take some time for me to set up my burst economy engine. Even though it's faster than Magnum Opus or Prof Context, because both of them have a 5 install cost, which gives a lot of early game downtime enough for the Corp to score agendas. With Chaos Theory, it's particularly problematic because I need to get my breakers out. I need to get my money going before the first Astro script hits the table or the first SanSan scoring occurs. So that is a huge worry on my mind right now. But now I have to focus on drawing up cards. I mulligan into this hand. It wasn't the best starting hand, but it had quality time in it, and that was more than enough to trigger the chain reaction with more diesels and quality times to play. Now here I was really hoping to draw a modded, because then I can mod in my Dinosaurus. This would cause me to trash less cards. Right now as it stands, I need to trash a lot of cards for my hand because I drew with quality time and diesel and have no way to play everything up. I was also hoping for more event-based economy like Dirty Laundries, but that didn't happen. So instead, what I'm going to do is that since I have the Test Run Scavenge combo in my deck, I am just going to use it straight up and pick one of my 3 big programs to install. I chose Morningstar. Might be a stupid decision, but I chose Morningstar because I wanted to break through barriers. Actually, I'm not sure why I didn't choose a Torch instead. I guess I didn't want to scare him into icing up HQ even more, because I have a legwork in hand, and at any time, test running a Torch into a legwork is always an option. So I want to keep that option open. If he ices up HQ, then the option is closed and I cannot really use my legwork to the fullest. So I'm preempting, hoping that he has quite a few barriers in his deck. This would nullify them, and my Morningstar is just on the table to threaten any barriers that come on board. Now he starts scoring an agenda, and that really scared me because, it's NBN, there's Astro script, but he doesn't score the Astro script, he scores a Bill instead. This tells me a very, very important thing, that he has no Astro scripts in hand. Otherwise he would score the Astro script instead. So I can actually afford to leave the SanSan on the table. He can score another agenda for all I care, because it's not an Astro script. I don't have to be worried about it. I can slowly solidify my economy. Now I have 3 prepaid VoicePADs going, which is a huge boon. Now with a single show gamble, I brought up 16 credits, more than enough to deal with the SanSan. So by this point in time, which is I believe the 4th or 5th turn of the game, he should have scored an Astro script. This is the scoring window that NBN needs to capitalize on. Of course, he doesn't exactly know how my deck works. It could be an Account Siphon deck for all he knows, but his scoring window timing is up. Because now I'm pretty rich, I'm able to get through most servers without having to pay too much. Here I make a mistake. I dirty laundry R&D, hoping that it would be a barrier, but I was wrong. It was a quandary, and I lost my dirty laundry credits because of that. That was the gamble that I played on my part. I didn't want to dirty laundry the remote because I figured it could be a Jackson, which would waste my laundry. On the other hand, I was quite sure that his R&D ice would either be a barrier or a sentry. If it's a sentry, I can easily pay through the trace. But turns out it was quandary, much to my disgust. But now he can't really stop me. I just use a lucky find and suddenly I'm on 22 credits. This is the sheer power of event-based economy, and him running mid-seasons, I'm pretty sure he runs a mid-seasons there somewhere. There's no way he's going to be able to use a mid-seasons effectively against me when I have so many credits to my name. So now he's busy clicking for credits while I'm digging for my next 2 breakers. I need to find 2 more scavengers and 1 more test run to complete my rig. So far, I'm not having too much luck because the remaining 2 scavengers are lying underneath in the last quarter of my deck. So I'm forced to play it slow. But once I find my second Scavenge, I will be able to do the test run Scavenge combo with Torch, and which is followed up by a legwork. I can also follow it up with an indexing, because both R&D and HQ are extremely porous with only quandaries protecting them. So this is looking very good for me. Had he scored Astro Scripts earlier on, if those 2 agendas in his core power Astro Scripts instead of Wheels, the game would be totally different. I would be forced to use my test run the moment he scored the first Astro Script, just so that I can legwork his HQ to clear him of any further Astro Scripts or 3-2 agendas. And yes, that will put my Torch on the table much earlier. That was definitely an option on the cards had he scored an Astro Script early on. But because he did not, I can afford to play much more slowly. So this speaks of flexibility. Same old thing also provides this flexibility. I have the power to test run and use same old thing to recurse a Scavenge, leaving me 1 click to run wherever I want with my newfound Torch. That was definitely an option had he scored the Astro Script. So yeah, my playstyle would definitely have changed. I would not necessarily have lost the game, but it would definitely be much harder to cope against an NBN who has an Astro Script token in the score pile. Now, he threatens to score an agenda in the remote, so I'm forced to use the test run now to bring out a Femme. I'm not sure what the ice is, so I need to bring out the Femme to bypass the ice. And as I mentioned earlier, using this combo, same old thing into a Scavenge so that I can retrieve my breaker back. And instead of retrieving the Femme, I retrieve Torch because I need the Torch more. I want the Torch to get through his central servers. I do not need the Femme. I can get the Femme later as and when I need to. So yes, this is another powerful part of playing this big rig deck. With my other decks like Gate Knight and Account Siphon, Recursion, and Arc, you have Overminds and you have Knights, both of which are AI icebreakers that more or less guarantee access through a single piece of ice. This is an incredibly powerful ability that runners have, and which almost every runner should make use of. For my Chaos Theory deck, I don't run Knights or Overminds, but I do run Femme Patel, which essentially acts like a Knight. It has the power to get past pretty much every piece of ice in the game, including Guard, because Guard is a sentry that can be broken by Femme. So, as it stands, Femme is, in my opinion, the most powerful icebreaker in the entire game. Of course, there's a reason why it costs 9 credits to install, but it definitely is very powerful just because of its bypass ability. It's so strong. It's always a trump card to use against any runner who attempts to score an agenda early on, which is exactly what my deck fears. I need time to set up my economy engine. I need time to set up my complete rig. So, enough talking about that. I finally pull off the legwork with the Torch ready, and I don't see any agendas in HQ. Because he spent the past turn digging up 6 cards from R&D into his hand, I figured there were agendas in archives, so I run there. He doesn't reshuffle any agendas with the Jackson. Turns out, everything he trashed was not an agenda. That really caught me off guard. So I spent the last few clicks drawing up, and I finally see my 2 scavengers. About time, yeah. Unfortunately, it did not come with a test run, so I cannot bring my Femme out just yet. He solidifies that server. Nope, he doesn't. Mima, okay. While he thinks of what to do, I'm also planning my next move. It will probably have something to do with the Levi AR Lab access, given that my deck is running out, and this is the last copy of Levi AR Lab access that I have access to. I definitely don't want to have it trashed by anything, so I'm looking to use it soon. But I do not wish to use it now, because I still have an indexing ready to go, and I still have a Scavenge which can be very useful. The problem with indexing is that Jackson is safe in his ivory tower. I need to get rid of him one way or another in order to perform the indexing. So I am looking to run into the Jackson remote on my first click. Trouble is, I'm really afraid of Sentry. a program trashing sentry of the likes of Grim. That would seriously ruin my day. I'm not about to have my 8 or 9 cost program being trashed outright. So I do bring out the Femme with my final test run in my deck, followed by a Scavenge onto Dinosaurus. I know that I'm very unlikely to see high strength barriers in NBN, so I can use Dinosaurus for Femme instead. This will allow me to get past the nasty sentries rather easily. And of course I Femme that piece of ice because there's nothing better to Femme. And I trash the Jackson. But not before he reshuffles things back. So, with Jackson trash, I'm looking to index next turn. And right now, as you can see, I am completely sealing off any chance of him scoring engenders. If he throws down a SanSan, it's going to get trashed. If he throws down an engender, it's going to get stolen. And yeah, he's just in a horrible position right now because he did not manage to capitalize in the very first opening turns of the game. Of course, you can say he got unlucky because he didn't find his Astro script early on, and that is true. But that's the risk you play with NBN. This NBN deck doesn't seem to be geared towards the late game because all the ice that I'm seeing so far is all binary and stands no chance against my big rig. So I see a pop-up window. Right now, a pop-up window is a joke. And I score a breaking news. Well, he tossed me a freebie. Very well. And then I follow up with an indexing. Because why not? There's no Jackson on the board anymore. I find the NAPD contract, so that's going into my score file soon. And I hastily score it. Now, why do you think he gave me the freebie? The answer is pretty obvious. He wants to pull off a mid-seasons. But looking at our credit differential, do you really think he can pull off a mid-seasons? I don't think so. So I spend my last click drawing up a card because in case he runs 2 mid-seasons or some sort of funny tagging shenanigans, I do not wish to be scorched down. Having 3 cards in hand is a pretty risky move. If he has 2 cards that can give me a trace, that can give me a tag, sorry. So he does pull off the mid-seasons and invests every single credit in his pool. 19 credits, and I have exactly 19 credits in my pool. So I'm not going to get tagged. He just basically reset both of us to 0. But guess who has the easier job of climbing up the credit ladder? That's right, it's the guy with 3 prepaid VoicePads. So I don't think he made the right move there. He needed the credits way more than I did. But here I made a mistake. I miscount the number of cards in my heap, specifically the lucky finds. I thought there were only 2 lucky finds in my heap, so I could draw the last one from R&D. I counted wrongly, and there was no lucky find in my R&D, so I was forced to click for credits. Small misplay there, but with a Levi AR lab access, I should be able to get things going next turn. So sure enough, I click for credits, I reshuffle my deck, and I don't find any economy cards, so I'm forced to wait for yet another turn. So I'm giving him actually precious time to set up. But still, my economy is going to go out of hand faster than him. And right now, I'm already at match point, so he cannot rely on mid-season shenanigans anymore. The next agenda I pull out is probably going to win me the game. So I think right now he's staring bleakly at a dead end. This is what happens when you're up against a big rig deck. Femme on Dinosaurus, Morningstar, Torch. If you don't have the proper ice deal with that, you can't do anything. You can only sit there and wait for the game to close against your favor. Dirty Laundry, that will net me 1 card access while giving me the credits I need to credit back up. But I don't need those credits because I pulled out the final Astro script to win the game. The Astro script really came too little too late for him. So yes, it was very unfortunate that he didn't manage to score his first Astro script. That definitely would have changed the game. But that being said, you can see just how powerful this economic engine is once again, to the point where I do not need to worry about plus crits at all. He was indeed playing the Scorched Earth mid-seasons variant, and at no point in the game was I ever worried about taking a Scorched Earth to the face because my economy was just too dang good. It really gets out of control very fast. I think it can outspeed even the fastest of Wayland decks, which is quite an accomplishment. So I'm looking to play more NBN and Wayland games with my Chaos Theory deck because this could very well be tournament viable. If Corp players do not know how to take advantage of the early scoring windows when they sense one, they are going to pay for it late game because they will have absolutely no options when I'm fully set up with 50 credits revving to go. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this interesting. See you around.